in the image of my maker. Peace is my true nature. I am divine. Habargani. Kuumba Habargani. That is, what's the word? And the word today is Kuumba, the sixth principle of Kwanzaa. As we welcome this fresh energy and potential of this new day that we've stepped into, let us turn our focus to the uplifting principle of Kuumba, or creativity. Kuumba inspires us to harness our creative power, not just for personal expression, but as a means to enhance and enrich our community, leaving it more beautiful and beneficial than we found it. Creativity in the spirit of Kuumba goes beyond artistry. It's about innovative thinking, problem solving, and bringing positive change in every aspect of our lives. It's a call to action, urging us to create creativity to our community's growth and well being. So, this morning, let us explore how we can apply our creative energies in the ways that have a lasting positive impact. It might be through starting a community project, finding new solutions to old challenges, or simply adding a artistic touch to brighten someone's day. Every act of creativity, no matter how small, contributes to the collective beauty and enhancements of our community. That's why we celebrate Kuumba. Let's also remember that creativity is not a rare gift, but an inherent trait in all of us as divine spiritual beings. Whether it's through words, actions, ideas, or artistic expression, we all have the ability to create, to innovate. So, embracing this capacity is essential for our collective progress. And for the legacy we are to leave for future generations. So, as we go about this day, starting with this presentation this morning here in the Science of Successful Living, let us be mindful of the creative imprint that we leave on the world. Let us use our talents and our ideas to make our community a more vibrant, beautiful, and beneficial place for all. We're all on the same planet, or we're all in the same boat. So, wishing you a day that's filled with creative inspiration, purposeful action, and the joy of contributing to the betterment of our community. We step into this morning's science of divine living, science of successful living. To be divine is to be successful. I am Ausar, your facilitator. We're out here every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's a virtual presentation. 2024, we're going to move into an actual space in St. Louis, Missouri, which will ultimately be the headquarters for all of the um, new thought centers that will step forward, that will come forth, that will be revealed in 2024 and going forth. Perhaps you're in a city right now that you're resonating with, we need that right here. Well, you can be part of bringing that right there. So let's have a conversation early this year about what we can do to get the New Thought Center, not only virtual, but live into your community. Well, welcome. Today is the sixth principle of Kwanzaa. We've taken some time all week and we've looked at the various principles that are part of the Nguza Saba, the 7 days of Kwanzaa. We are on the sixth day. We culminated on tomorrow with the last day being Amani, and that has to do with faith. And I encourage you to Google it, to um, pick up a book and explore it. So we're going to look at the principle this morning, the principle of Kuumba, the Nguza Saba. This is the 7 principles, and this morning we want to embrace Kuumba and the power of creativity in transforming our world, our lives. Kuumba, or creativity, is one of the core principles that encourages us to use our inherent creative abilities. Now, you may say, I don't have any inherent creative abilities. That's not true. The problem is we're not aware of how powerful we are. For those of us who are listening under the sound of my voice today, the vast majority of you have a Christian experience. And the beauty of the Nguza Saba, the seven principles, they can be incorporated into whatever religious expression you have. So as we look at Christianity in particular, we know we've come to find out this year, if you've been around any length of time, you come to the realization that Christianity that we have today, the westernized version that started evolving around 300 BC under the realm of the Ptolemies, and ultimately ended or culminated in 325-ish with the Romans and the Greeks finally cultivating a religious system that was pertinent to them, but predicated on the Kemetic spiritual science. And they created this thing called Christianity. And it's been imposed on the world, forced on the world, either forced at the point of the sword, or it's forced with the mental manipulation that if you don't accept the principles of Western Christianity, you would either go to hell or you were not part of God's divine creation. So I don't believe any of that. But I do believe that as you unpack Christianity, you'll come to find out that it has its underpinnings, its foundation in Kemetic science. You also understand that it was through Kuumba, creativity, that our ancestors who were forced onto the slave ships and made the Middle Passage and landed here in the Americas and were North America, and ultimately had their name stolen, their language stolen. They had anything that represented their moral fiber of who they were that would lead to success. The families destroyed, but they came up through this with the spirit of Kuumba. They were able to survive. They were not only able to survive, but they were able to thrive. Their stories of post the post-slavery, how Black communities came together and became thriving, vibrant centers. And they had an interruption too. They had the communities being burned down, like the Tulsa riots, and that's only one of the broadcasted riots. Wherever the Africans had uh, resurrected themselves from the interruption of slavery and began to create vibrant communities, there was always the spirit of the oppressor that came in. And even today, there's laws in place, oppressive laws in place to stifle your creativity. But it was through that kuumba, that ability to create, to be creative, that we took what was imposed on us and we recreated it. And we come to find out that the Black church is not like the white church. Black Christians are not like white Christians, that we have a different expression. And in times, the expressions of the Africans inside of Christianity has been co-opted by the oppressive system. But the essence of what I'm saying this morning is we've been able to thrive, we've been able to survive because we are divine spiritual beings and we have the spirit of Kuumba. Now, when we look in the book of Genesis, it talks about in the beginning God created, and it says in the beginning there was darkness on the face of the deep, and that God intervened, and that entire story comes from the Memphite cosmological story. And it says that source came forth and they began to, under the guise of ta or ta, speak and created atom. And through the creation of atom, we have the pantheon of not gods, but of essences, of character, the characteristics of source that allows us to kind of define what source is, because you can't define who source is You can't put those words together, but you can define what source is. That is, you can look in the eastern sky each morning and you can see a ball rising from the horizon, and we call it the sun or the Ra. And from Ra, we get the rays of life that energizes us. And then we see, if we look into the western sky at night, as it goes down and disappears into the duat, or into the other under parts of the world, that there's this moon that doesn't have any light of its own, but it radiates the light of the sun. Even when it isn't seen, the sun is able to radiate a light that reflects. And that represents you and I, that we have no light of our own, but we have these as essence, a part of the greater light that shines in us. So I'm saying to each of us, as we move into 2024, we must begin to let our light shine. So, in the spirit of creativity, Kuumba. At its heart, Kuumba is about leaving the world a better place than you found it. To make it personal, it's about the chaos that you stand in right now, the imperfection that you're dealing with, the contrast that you have in your life. Kuumba gives you the ability to shift that. This principle challenges us to look beyond what is so obvious and to consider the broader impact of what actions we can take, what ideas are dropped in on us. Creativity in the context of a powerful tool for community building, social change, most of all, personal development. You cannot solve a problem on this level without addressing it on another level. It is said that a problem created on with level 3, level 4, level 5 thinking cannot resolve with that level of thinking. That it takes either a higher level of thinking. It takes, you got to um, present a something outside of what is. And too many of us are inside of our challenges, and we keep rehearsing. We're looking for the solution in what has happened in the past. But what worked in the past will not work in the present. So we want to understand what this thing Kuumba is all about. We want to ask ourselves, how can we apply this in our daily lives? Kuumba encourages us to approach the challenges, the contrasts, with a creative mindset. This could mean develop a new strategy, or being listening for a new strategy to address your personal issues, the community issues, finding better ways to communicate, or innovative solutions for everyday challenges that face our community. No longer should we just allow the oppressive system. It's not a person anymore. It's a system, because we have individuals who look like you and I who are oppressing us also, because they are culturally misoriented. Many times they over identify with the oppressive system, the oppressive culture, at the expense of their own culture. Thinking that if I think like them, act like them, be like them, or if I accept the culture of the day, that it'll move me down the road, get me along my way. But that's what's been to the demise of the African family, the African community. Africans not only here in America, but Africans on the continent, Africans across the diaspora. We got to understand that we are a unique people with a unique interruption. Our interruption went beyond the enslavement of the physical body. Our interruption, it sought to interrupt the thinking process of the African, to change the African mind. And they've done a great job. But there's still this innate spirit inside of us that says that we were created in the image and after the likeness of the divine, and that divine has given us a mandate that we are to have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of this air, and every creeping thing that creeps upon the face of the earth. We have been given this divine mandate to manage We are the managers of the earth. I saw a movie last night, um, and that movie was wonderful. Matter of fact, I forgot the title of the movie, but it has to do. It's on Netflix, and some people are not resonating with it because of the way it ended. But I encourage you. I'm going to find that movie and I'm going to put it out there. So we got to problem solve. When we talk about Kumba, we also talk about artistic expression. Art in all forms, paintings, music, literature, dance, can be a means of strengthening our community, our bonds, sharing our cultural heritage, and giving voice to shared experiences and values. They're taking it out of school. We can dance in the school, they can celebrate our music in the school, but we cannot rehearse our stories in the school. We can't talk about what has happened. And part of what uh, uh, the problem that they foresee, if we talk about what has happened and how we were able and are able to rise through all of the mess through and through a positive message, that this our communities could evolve to once again that great community. But they don't want us to know. The system doesn't want our story rehearsed because they know that we'll rise again through artistic expression. We have the ability to take little and turn it into much. We have the ability to. I remember once when I was a kid, my we had a challenge in my family. I don't know what it was all about. I probably was somewhere around 4 or something like that. But there was nothing to eat in the cupboards. But my mom was creative. She never let us let on that it was because there was really no food. But she was able to take um, a little meal and put it together and create something from it. And it's called hot water cornbread. And to this very day, I enjoy it. But that's a creative expression, taking what we have to create something that could sustain us. When we look at soul food, when we look at how we initially ate low on the hog, that is, everything that they discarded, that they did not want to eat, our ancestors were creative enough. And sometimes people say, I don't eat that swine, or make these denigrating statements about those who eat pork. But you got to understand that you do what you have to do. Now, we don't necessarily have to do it. We understand that some of the properties within pork is not to the advantage of our phenotype, our design to eat. And then we look in the scriptures, it talks about we shouldn't eat it. But at the same time, here what we know, that anything we eat, we should be eating for sustained sustenance, to bring forth life. And everything we eat, we pray over it. We speak the creative word over it. If there are some things, some properties inside of that your powerful prayer and belief can shift that. I'm an eatitarian. I can eat anything. But I also know that you have to eat in moderation. You have to listen to your body. Your body will tell you what you shouldn't eat, or what you should not, or what you should be ingesting. You will have a crave for it. So we talk about artistic expression is the ability to use our cultural things or dances, our musics, and to expand our community. Another thing about Kumba as it relates to in our daily life is we need to identify some sustainable practices. Creativity is a key in developing sustainable practices that benefit not only you and I, but our environment. This might involve designing green space where we can grow some food, or green space in urban areas, so you're just not looking at a concrete jungle. You're developing an eco-friendly technologies. So when we talk about sustainability, as far as Kuumba, you go to sleep at night, and part of going to sleep is not just being asleep, but powering down this physical body, powering down the brain, and then connecting with that essence of who you are, that divine spiritual being, that spark of the Ka that's in you, that is part of the Ka of Source. And while you are asleep at night, Even the scriptures tells us in Job 14 that while you're asleep, that source is downloading in you. Source is correcting. Source is disciplining, discipling you through the course of the theta wavelength. Science has proven out spirituality. For spirituality is impacting science, and science is spirituality reflected in reality. Kuumba is about personal growth. Kuumba is also a journey of personal growth. It's about discovering and nurturing your unique talents and using them in a service of a greater good, not just to uh, receive pay, but for the greater good. Yesterday, I had the distinct pleasure of doing a homecoming service or going service for someone I did not know, but because of relationship with that I have developed with someone I see frequently, and they were aware of what I do on different occasions. They have sought me out to be the officiant for the homegoing of someone who perhaps was not affiliated with the church, or did not have a pastor, or did not have a spiritual leader in their lives. And I did it, and I did it at no cost. There was nothing given to me. I didn't ask for anything. Prayerfully, I hope that people operate in understanding that when a service is delivered, and if there's value there, you can give something. But I don't do what I'm called to do. I don't express my gift with the ultimate goal of getting paid for it. I express my gift because the word tells me your gift makes room for you. The word tells us, see a man who is diligent in his gift, in his workings. That person, that man, that woman, you will not have an audience of mere men, but you'll stand before kings. You'll stand before those who are noble influence. So you have to begin to use your gift. You don't use it, you lose it. Now, when we talk about personal growth, we have to understand, we must daily know that personal growth is challenging. It presents contrast. When you begin to operate the divine principles, or the universal laws, you're going to get pushback. But you got to stay with it, because this stuff works if you work it. Now we talk about Kuumba, we got to talk about Kuumba and our communities, community development. A community that embraces Kuumba is one that is adaptive, resilient, and vibrant. By fostering creativity, communities can develop unique solutions to their challenges. Example, when we look at the history of the Black church, it was a place where the arts, it was a place where many of our great actors and orators had their first interaction on the stage before an audience. So the church has had some positive things and continue to have some positive things. But for the most part, the organization is affected by organisms, people who don't understand the bigger picture. When you look at the church today, it's really all about money. It's all about the numbers. Who has the largest facility? But when you look in the lives of those who are leading churches, they are not farther along in the transformation cycle of themselves as those who are in the pews. It's really an interesting thing going on today. Looking at most pastors and listening to most of what they're saying is the same as listening to some guru who's telling you how to get something. But when you really think about spirituality, it embraces the Kuumba of being able to take the laws, the universal laws, and to apply them in a creative way in your life. And so we have to, if we want our communities to thrive as it pertains to Kuumba, then we got to begin to recapture our creative expressions, and not allow our creative expressions to be exploited, but use our creative expressions in order to spark something inside of our children that they may show up in life as winners. When we talk about Kuumba and creative expression and we talk about personal development, we talk about you are the creator of the life you desire to live. Whatever is going on in your life right now is a direct result of what you've been thinking, is a direct result of what you've been thinking, what actions you've been taking, is a direct result of living in default. Come on now. We must be willing to rise above the muck and the mire of mediocrity. And we must begin to employ or release the spirit of Kuumba that's inside of all of us. So Kuumba is more than just a principle. It's a way of life. Just like all of the Nguza Saba, every one of the principles, you need to recapitulate today. You need to go back and look at the emails I sent every morning this week about every principle. I've been consistent in that. And if you will reflect on that principle and ask yourself, what does it mean to me inside of this principle? Change in our community, in our lives. For many of us, Kwanzaa has just slipped down the slope into a money thing. We look at, here we are in the midst of Kwanzaa, and most of our community organizations has already celebrated Kwanzaa, and they celebrated Kwanzaa pre-Christmas. And why did they do that? Because they, in their mind's eye, there was not enough resources to go around, and that the people will spend their money on Christmas, and come Kwanzaa, there are no monies left. That one tells us how our leaders think about us. Two, it tells us that they don't understand what Kwanzaa is about. Kwanzaa is not about selling. If anything, Kwanzaa is about gifting. Even this day, we talk about creativity, that is giving back to the world something that unique to us, that will express to them a possibility. So we've just been totally misoriented, miscultural orientation. That is, we think Kwanzaa is about selling. It's not. It's about the celebration of first fruits. It's about that time of the year, like right now in the southern hemisphere of Africa. It's hot. They're in their summer, and they are in the season where the earth has produced for them, and they're enjoying it. And we have to understand that here in the northern hemisphere, sometimes we forget that as above, so below, and as below, so above. And we got to learn how to integrate all of this, synthesize all of this. So it's about more than just a principle. It's a call to active participation, to be a participant in the shaping of your world, using creativity not just for personal fulfillment to survive, but as a means of contributing to the greater good of your family, of your community, of the city that you're in, the state that you're in, the country that you're in. I had a conversation last night, and I said that I wouldn't want to live any other place right now. When we look across the world, and you may find communities that are outliers, but for the most part, when you look at America, it represents a possibility to thrive, to live, to express. But we're on a slippery slope, because everybody has a way that appears to themselves to be right, and it's at the expense of others. If what you believe in serves your highest and greatest good, you needn't impose it on anybody else, but you need to be free to express it. And you don't have to accept all this other stuff that has been given to us. I define family a particular way. I define a male a particular way. That's part of my spiritual essence, spiritual development, my spiritual practice. I make space for people to define their families, themselves, however they want to. I don't have to fight them. I don't have to put them down, but make space on your side to allow me to continue to be who I am. See, we got to understand we live in a world where people are imposing through force, through legislation, ideas that don't necessarily represent the highest and greatest good for all mankind. But I'm sitting back, and my question is, how's that working? It's not going to work out because there is such thing as universal laws, and the world we live in has the ability to correct itself. The universe that we live in has the ability to correct itself. You have the ability to correct yourself. As an actor, if you don't like how you're showing up, if you don't like the role you've been playing, get a new script and learn it, live it, and be it. So let us each find a way to incorporate the principle of Kuumba in our daily lives, whether it be through some form of art, innovation, sustainable living, or community service. Let us all use our creative energies to build a more beautiful, beneficial world for all. And so it is. So as we prepare to move into the remainder of this day, a couple things I want to say. Don't drop off the line. If you're listening, if you're participating actively this morning, if you're catching this at some later date, it's the right date, the right time. If this message or any other message that I've spoken this year, anything that I've sent you that has been of value, consider sowing a seed. Now, for those of you who are tax conscious, here's what you need to know: that the Oasis Spiritual Center, the New Thought Center, we are registered, and whatever you sow into the ministry, it comes right back to you anyway. So this you get a tax break. But you don't give because you're going to get a tax break. You give because you have found value here this morning, value throughout this year. I'm surprised at the number of people I have right now, thousands of people that are part of the Oasis YouTube channel. I have had YouTubes that have a YouTube channel that's been looked at in excess of 40,000 times, uh, and I believe people are watching it because it's to them. But even in that, you would think that people would drop a little something to say, I heard, I receive, and here's a blessing. But oftentimes we don't sow back into the lives of those who have sown to us. That's why we find many of our ministers now are putting a price tag on everything, because those who are gleaning from the gift they have are not showing any level of appreciation. So when I do get a gift to this ministry, it does my heart good. Not the amount that is given, but the act of giving lets me know that somebody's found value. So if you find value this morning, if you haven't given all year long and you desire to be, but I want to say this also. I want to thank all of you who have been consistent contributors. I want to thank all of you who have given maybe one time throughout this year. I have appreciation. I have gratitude for that. So this morning, if you desire to be a blessing to this ministry, all you got to do, if you got Zelle or if you have Cash App, you can put this phone number into the line up there for who you're sending it to, and it's 708 368 1076. 708 368 1076. One more time, 708 368 1076. And if you don't have Zelle or Cash App, you can go to our website, oasisspiritualcenter.com. Go to the giving tab that you find there. And when you open the giving tab, you'll find various um, um, methods that you can use to transmute what you have that you desire to give from there to here. So I want you to join in with me in this offertory this morning, this offertory statement. And I want you to join in just by saying, in my hand, in my mind, I hold my seed. I'm sowing my seed not for greed, but I'm sowing my seed in alignment with universal laws. The law that says sow and you shall reap. The law that says give and you shall receive. The law that says that there is a thing called circulation. So we allow what we have by the giving of a portion of it to circulate. And as we say, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, circulate, circulate, circulate. And so it's so I pray that something has been said this is uplifting to those who are with me this morning. So as you go into this new year, the last few days I've been speaking to you about what must you release. You should have spent this time to ask yourself, what thing should I release? What one thing, if I release it, could change my life? Now, as you move into 2024 next year, that first week, ask yourself, what am I open to receive? And what you expect is what you elect. And so as we move into 2024, we move into a new season. We move out of the vibrational frequency of 2023 that gives us a 7, and the 7 vibrates at an endings. This year has been filled with endings for many of you. And sometimes the thing about an ending is has nothing to do with your choice to end it. Some of us has experienced the transitioning of people, an ending. Some of us has lost jobs, endings. Some of us have friendships that appears the individuals have walked away, endings. You had nothing to do with it in most cases, meaning you couldn't change it if you had the strength. But it's an ending. What we have to learn to accept is endings. And to get the lesson that was given, not just the blessing. There was a blessing in the thing. That's why you have the sadness that comes with an ending, because it's been a blessing. But there's a lesson inside of that blessing. And you got to find it. Even if someone is put out of your life, even if something is coming to an end that you're choosing, find the blessing. That is, find what is the lesson that I learned, and now that this coming to an end. So 2024 represents a new beginning. But you can't have a true new beginning until you have an old ending. So bring some things to a close. 2024 represents the vibrational frequency of 8. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 gives us 8. 8 represents new beginnings. 8 represents after everything has been done, on the seventh day, Source rested. It was ended. The act of creation of that thing ended. And then it moved into a new expression of a new beginning. Because when things end, it represents a new possibility. 2024 is about new possibilities. 2024 is the mantra is, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. That is, you have the ability to bring whatever you desire to bring into fruition, but you must be willing to do the work. You just can't have a affirmation statement. You got to have an affirmation statement, and then you got to have action activity, things that align with what you're affirming, taking the right actions that align with what you're affirming. Transformation. I'm excited about 2024, what it holds, what it can express as. So there you have it. We're right at the top of the hour. It's 9:50. Let me look here and see if I have any questions, any comments, anybody want to make. I appreciate it. If you need clarity on anything, I appreciate that. I'll do what I can do for those individuals who are with me in the YouTube channel. Good morning. It's good to see you. I hope something has been stated that is encouraging, uplifting, clarifying. Awesome. All right. It looks like there's no hands up, there's no comments. And so I'm going to move on into the remainder of my day, but I'm going to close today's session with a prayer. And I want you to affirm, stand inside of this prayer with me. So, right wherever you are, I just want you to just close your eyes, believing you're in a safe space. Now, take a big breath in through your nostrils, expanding your lungs to full capacity. Hold it, release it. And as you come to the bottom of that breath, I want you to place a soft, gentle smile on your face, a facial expression that states that all is well and things are getting better. Now, together, let us move into our next breath. Big breath in through the nostril, expanding your lungs to full capacity, holding the breath, allowing every cell, every system, every organ to be brought into perfect alignment with wholeness, healing, and health. Now exhale. And as you exhale, you release, you relax, you let go of that which once served you, but no longer serves you. And as you come to the bottom of the breath, you pause and you take a moment, and now you move into your next breath. As you move into your next breath, big breath in, releasing, relaxing, allowing. Continue to breathe in and out as we go into this morning's prayer. In the boundless and nurturing presence of the divine, I embrace the principle of Kuumba, celebrating the gift of creativity within us. We acknowledge today that this creative force is a sacred expression of the universe, flowing through each of us as a channel of divine inspiration and innovation. This morning, we give thanks for the creative spirit that resides within each of us, understanding it is an essential part of our being. This creativity is not limited to the art of invention, but permeates every aspect of our lives, guiding us to find unique solutions, to express ourselves authentically, and to contribute positively to the world around us. We commit to using our creative powers for the betterment of our community. In every endeavor, we seek to leave a positive imprint, to create something meaningful and lasting, and to enhance the beauty and functionality of our environment for the benefit of all. So we open ourselves up to the infinite possibilities of creation, letting go of any fears or doubts that may hinder our creative expression. We trust the divine guidance that leads each of us, allowing our thoughts, our words, and our actions to reflect the limitless imagination and innovation of the universe. So, in this moment called right here, right now, or now, moments of creative challenge, we remind ourselves that we are supported by the endless resourcefulness of the divine mind. We are confident that new ideas and solutions and expressions are continually unfolding within us, ready to be brought into this world. So we affirm this morning we are vessels of divine creativity. Through each of us, the universe expresses itself in novel and beneficial ways. Our creativity enhances our community, leaving it more beautiful, more beneficial than we found it. And in closing, I lift up each person who is under the sound of my voice right now. No matter what day it may be, I speak life. I call forth a creative solution. I speak clarity. I speak the silence that is necessary, that you can hear from that still small inward voice. I sensitize you to the nudge of the universe, where you want to go left, but that'll be going wrong, and you'll go right. I decree that you'll begin to walk into the reality that there is more than enough, that it's not just enough, that there is no lack, that when one door closes, that you understand that there are many other doors or other portals that you can go through. When something leaves or someone walks out of your life, you won't grieve beyond a designated time. You'll understand that that space has been left, and that in this universe, there's no such things as voids. Something new will come forth. So I decree that as you close out this year and be prepared to step into the next year, you'll be greater, you'll be better. But that is only because you've counted the cost of what has been, and you're open to speak a new solution. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful day. Be safe in whatever you choose to do. And whatever you choose to do, do it in moderation, in preparation for a new day is rising. Peace. I leave you. Peace. I love you. And so it is.